For today's roundtable, the topic will be around islands mobility and logistics, with the company of Sérgio Matos of Logislink, Andreia Quintal from Horários do Funchal, Nuno Freitas of Empresa de Cerveja da Madeira, Armando Ribeiro of Municipality of Funchal, and to moderate this roundtable, we have Lino Nóbrega, Chairman of the IT of Madeira Chamber of Commerce.
Salute all the participants. I will do now a brief presentation of people here. We have Andreia representing the bus company of Funchal. Because I cannot listen to. We have Armando from the Municipality of Funchal. He has a doctor degree in land regulation. He also has experience in European project management, coordinating the Civitas Madeira project in 2008 and 2013. And he's actually currently one of the members of administration of the City Hall. We have Nuno Freitas from the beer company in Portugal. He's responsible of management, procurement and information systems. He has coordinated the implementation of SAP system. He coordinated the restructuring project of the distribution of the company, and they increased to national level all the produced brands and increased the fame of the local beer company, beer brand Coral. Finally, we have Sérgio Matos, which is representing the Grupo Sousa. He has a degree in management, and he is an administration member, and his role has to do with navigation and also land logistics. Since 2017, he's administrator of Logislink, one of the companies in this group. In his activity, he has implemented the track and trace system, the warehouse management system, and also different processes, as well the customer relationship portal. And recently, he's participating in this Call Me experience. I would like to thank your presence here. Now, let's go to your presentations. For the first presentation, I will invite Dr. Sérgio Matos. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank the invite. I'm representing the Grupo Sousa. I will speak a little bit about transportation area. First, at macro level, then city context. We today have a unique situation. In the last years, we were coming out of the pandemics. We lived this war. Also, the inflation doesn't have parallel in the last decades. Only in the time of my fathers we had numbers like this. This is making a disruption in logistics. There's a dislocation in production. There's also a surge in different markets. And all of this has led to price instability in markets. Maritime transport has suffered with all these adjustments and the the reduction of our offer. So the renting of ships and maritime transport has increased 1,000%. So to rent a ship, it would cost a few years ago $6,000 per day. Now it's almost $50,000 per day. So a simple container would cost $2,000. Now it's like $18,000. Madeira has been a bit protected from this price escalation, because we have the operators having their own ships here, so it's a bit saved here. So, since here, if in a normal situation we would be renting a ship, but we are here to serve the island. So region is supplied twice per week with 3 ships, 2 from the mainland and 1 from Azores. We have connections to and from Europe, from the rest of the world, and Lisbon. We have a transit time around 30 hours between mainland and Madeira. Perishable products that is loaded in Saturday, Tuesday is already in Madeira. We do this with a similar cost of transportation between Lisbon and Bragança from the center of the country to the north. This regularity of transportation, Azores, for example, is only once per week, Madeira twice. And this brings many advantages to the economy. This allows an optimal stock management. So companies don't need stock larger than 30 days. The money that would be used in this stock can be channelized to production. And if you look at this example of regularity in the transportation process, for example, we can see the question of vaccines. Madeira had the vaccines only 1 week of delay regarding Europe, and keep the regularity of this supply. We have in our group also a project of a natural gas pipeline, which doesn't come from Russia. With 50 containers, we can supply regularly natural gas to Madeira. We can reduce the dependency of oil. Right now, the fuel consumption here in Madeira is around 50% oil and 50% other sources. This brings us the question of dependency of oil and sustainable development, and also the necessary requirements of sustainability, environment, people, and company development. Portugal has signed the Paris Agreement with very ambitious goals until 2050. Most multinational companies already defined the carbon neutrality in 2030 and 50. So all these goals must be adopted by all market intervenients, because the ecosystem is not isolated. Today, legislators already forces companies so that in their management reports they have to supply non-financial indicators and show what is the environmental impact. And this has a very strong impact in the way how do we look to cities. Most population lives in urban area, and the number will be increased to 80% in the future. We must think how we will interact in the city, the vehicles, transportation measures, and even the own economic activities. Cities have a supply system more and more complex. The last mile has really a significant impact in the transportation, and this kind of delivery is growing a lot due to e-commerce, and the pandemic has accelerated e-commerce. The growth what was expected in 4 years has happened in 6 months. Also, a delivery at home, like clothes, food, furniture, and also prepared food, everything is delivered to the door. And this creates lots of pressure in the roads, which has to be shared. There's a lot of competition, and looking here at Funchal, between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. all economic operators are going to the same roads, and there's lots of inefficiencies in economical terms and delays. We must create more favorable conditions so we can live in the cities. This theme has been started to be addressed by the European Union in 2010. In the meantime, many years have passed. We are seeing in many cities vehicle restrictions, be it by vehicle kind or by circulation times. We have like 35 heavy vehicles circulating in Funchal. Also the orography, the steepness in the island brings also different restrictions on which vehicles should we use. And we must balance the mass transport and the individual transport. And this will be lead to the way that the transportation will have to change vehicles in the logistics network so that it can be more effectively delivered at home. So we have to have means to collaborate between partners. People have to adhere more and more to technology. Today, most people have a smartphone, and It's like a terminal it's like a small computer that can serve for many things, localization. Today we have deliveries without paper, just phones. If you look like this market entry of Uber services and Glovo, with this technology, everyone has a smartphone. There's a huge growth and new technological standards thanks to these companies. Today, clients don't only want to know when the product comes from first point to last point. He all wants to know all the intermediate stages. And nowadays, with smartphones and smart solutions, we can have all this information. So we must bring companies together so that this works. We have to have simpler processes. Complex processes makes this difficult to integrate. We have to create synergies. Each company has to maintain its identity. But there should be more collaboration between companies so they can protect their data, their client, their market, and maintain its identity. We can search new solutions. Some are already there. Some solutions are there where there are small distribution centers near cities where different kinds of products can conflude. It doesn't make any sense that people in the street that have 20 different suppliers, all these 20 suppliers pass through the street. There shouldn't be 20 vehicles there. We at Logislink are making some steps here. We have a multi-client logistics a warehouse just inside the limits of the city. So we concentrate there all different merchandise from different companies, but there are many ways to improve. There's also this idea of installing lockers. So the products are put in lockers and people go there and fetch the products. And this experiment in terms of car sharing is also a very useful way to optimize resources and the sharing of cars. Lastly, we should have redundancy because in terms of cybersecurity and data protection, there's this need for openness and collaboration. We need to protect this data. I would like to thank you, Sérgio. Now I would give the word to Andreia. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I will speak a bit about Horários do Funchal, which is our local bus transportation in the city, how we work today. We also have services outside the city. We have also small buses that go around the center of the city. And all these buses in the historical zone have no emissions. And also have the particularity of the city in the mountains. They need to have very good braking systems. because the hills are very steep. We also have buses for the service to reduce mobility. Even though buses has wheelchair access, there are still some needs, and this dedicated service has more proximity to people. And also, I'd like to refer to the streets in Funchal. There are many particularities. There are very narrow roads, very curves that are very limited. So each bus has to adapt to different areas. So all this brings complexity to the management of transportation. A few numbers with the service. So pandemics, the numbers were a bit reduced. In 2019 we were good. We have around 50,000 passengers and about 2,000 trips. I will speak a bit of planning operation and 5 aspects that we are working on. And we would like to innovate in the future and make the processes faster, both for the collaborators and also regarding data analysis. So we have all this definition of the bus lines, and according to the demands, also the interaction the clients have with us is important. Many times clients suggest new lines or changing the trips, and we always try to adapt the service to these requests. So whenever there is a request, we need to analyze our resources and see if we can comply to that request. Also, we have to pay attention to our non-clients, the users of individual transport. So we regularly talk with our non-clients to know about why they don't use public transportation, and always try to find solutions. Regarding planning, we also come in the world of data sharing. We need to have data between different entities regarding the roads, know where people reside, and how all this plays. Also about health services, where people work. All this info has to be put in a place, and we have to discover the best transportation solutions for our clients or potentially new clients. We have buses, drivers. We have also different buses to different streets. We have to plan and create the distribution of the drivers. Also, we have problems regarding labor restrictions and law, and they have to define and plan the service according to the rules. And many times we have to redefine everything because of regulation changes. Every day we monitor the service, regarding the trips, the punctuality, and we have to take into account also when some street closes and if there is some problem in the bus or some passenger. So we have a support system to the planning. And here is also a very important data source, because we have the times of the trips, and we can see if some trip is constantly late. Maybe we have to change our service, and we have to really collect well the data so we can analyze it and act. Regarding the ticketing system, we will be hiring a new ticketing system, and so everyone today uses a smartphone, so we want to have a solution using the smartphone, so in parallel to the traditional system. which are not so apt to use the new technologies. By defining new technologies, which is connected to the vehicle operation, we need to guarantee that it is easy also for the drivers and the operators. We must take into account the ease in the operation. And the part to inform clients is very important, be it regarding planning, be it during the trip. A tourist needs to know where to come out, and we want to improve the information sharing with the client. And being a touristic region, it's very important that we have information for tourists, and we put information in Google Maps, which most tourists use, so we have more complete information for everyone. We also do lots of communication activities and break the idea that public transportation is not easy or not comfortable. Our general purpose is better mobility for all citizens and make our customers and employees happy. Thank you.
Bom dia a todos. Muito obrigado pelo convite. Fizeram a apresentação da Madeira.
Thank you everyone for the invitation. So I'd like to start by saying that we are not a logistics company. We produce and sell drinks, but nevertheless we are totally dependent on logistics. How Sérgio said, since some years we have its external supply solved, and we have here a problem. Our competitors in the mainland can have a glass truck from a few hours. Here it's different. We are dependent on the ships, but nevertheless we have partners that solve this, and we can focus on our relation with the clients in a more capillary distribution. And this is important to refer. Regarding mobility and innovation, we look at it more in terms of what it allows to do to improve the interaction between us and the clients, how we can know the clients in the different perspectives, and so that we can optimize our relationship with them and have both parties satisfied. Our relationship with the client happens in two moments. In the pre-sale time, our collaborators pass one day, and then in the moment of the technical assistance of the thousands of equipments we have spread all over the island in terms of refrigeration. And also, we cannot talk about mobility and logistics without addressing the sustainability issue, as referred by my colleague. And today, this is one issue that we cannot ignore, and this sustainability allows us to be in the market in a different way as our clients in the mainland. There's a difficulty here, which is returning the empty bottles. And there's a reverse logistics that normal delivery doesn't happen. So all our bottles, glass bottles, can be returned, which is good for sustainability, but it raises some issues regarding logistics complexity. But it helps when we talk about sustainability and circular economy, as we are an island. Now, regarding details, for a few years, we have a sales system that when our collaborator goes with a client, we can know which other orders they have made, when was the last order, when the client likes to receive products before or after lunch. Also connecting with the customer relationship, which football club the client likes. So all of this happens not online, because communication, although being possible, would make it very difficult, but we have different synchronization mechanisms.
Hoje em dia ainda pode acontecer, como vos disse, a sincronização não é permanente.
So although synchronization is not permanent, we today can solve problems of suddenly not having product stock available. We saved lots of paper and immediate integration with the ERP system we use, which is SAP. Also in distribution, we made a similar path. Here, using the global positioning system, we don't use it always, this optimization. In different moments along the time, we review the information, geographical information of our clients, but nevertheless, it's everything equal regarding sales. The big change happened 3 years ago. So when there were lots of invoices and papers and were taken in the distribution, and there's difficulty to know what was given to the system, today we just take the order. If the client suddenly doesn't want some product, using the electronic device, it's automatically updated the order, so the invoice is emitted with the real products delivered, so there's no confusion with credit orders and things like that. And asking for payments also works well with this system. Using only the mobile device, no need to take lots of paper. You can simply see what outstanding invoices there is, and they can say, oh, I want to pay this and that. Or the invoice can be sent by email if the client has that desire. And our most recent project is called this is a temporary name.
Permite aqui a manutenção de todos estes equipamentos, não só a manutenção
The idea is to
de prevenção, de higienização e limpeza dos diferentes equipamentos, como de reparação não preventiva, portanto, quando somos chamados para alguma coisa.
to allow the management of all the resources, preventive maintenance, and also control all our goods that are spread all over the island in terms of comodat contracts. So when some cleaning operator arrives to the bar and see that the beer is not tasting good, they can see if there's this usual problem of the beer is bitter. So it will help the management of all these solutions and problems. Thank you for our attention. Good morning. I'd like to thank the invitation of Asif in the form of Marco Vieira. I'd like to salute the panel, the people present here, and the ones that are online. So in urban centers, the logistics is a very important aspect. Many times, loading and unloading of goods is done in places outside where they should, but many times these places have cars that should not be there. So to solve this problem, cities have implemented devices with curbside assets so that we can solve this problem of loading and unloading and traffic in general. And this is a very important support to urban planning and mobility management. Recognizing the importance of technology, the Municipality of Funchal, together with other entities, we participated in the Civitas destination project. We disallowed to put 179 LoRaWAN devices to determine if the parking places are busy or not. This is spread on paid parking, non-paid parking, and also loading and unloading spots. This is the places in the city where we have these sensors. This allows us to have a perception of the percentage of occupation which I can advance are very high. This is a few data and graphics that came out directly of the system, and then after being worked, we can take conclusions and take decisions.
Posteriormente, a Câmara está a participar num projeto que se chama FlexCard.
We are also working in project called FlexCurb,
Tornar a utilização do estacionamento,
which aims to make parking more efficient, especially associated to loading and unloading operations. This will reduce to the traffic congestion and evaluate with more detail the problems regarding loading and unloading, support fiscalization, and solve these problems of abuse of loading and unloading places. The final goal is to support the municipality and the citizen to achieve the purposes so that we have less and less traffic congestion problems.
Este projeto FlexCard tem como output
This FlexCurb project has as output basically two tools, two digital tools. Uma é a aplicação do condutor, the driver application, so that the drivers doing loading and unloading can know in real time what is the availability of loading and unloading places. They can, in a dynamic way, reserve the spots and also have route management. And also we have a dashboard which allows the support on how to decide where to create new parking spots, also managing the policies of using these spots, and also providing alerts to the public. These are the partners of this FlexCurb project. We have 4 cities: Funchal, Toulouse, Leuven, and Strasbourg. We have the support of special technological companies and specialists in communications. I'd like to end bringing emphasis to the fact that the more innovative the technologies are, the success always depends on the collaboration between the entities, of their exception between collaborators, and also of the effectiveness of fiscalization. Because when you have projects that interfere with mobility patterns, it's essential to have a communication strategy that can make people more aware, and both the retailers and the population for the benefits of these tools, and that the regulations can be respected. In the case of FlexCurb, the support of the logistics field will be central so that this project has success. This will be our bigger challenge. Thank you. Thank you very much to all for the excellent presentations that took most of my work. And since we have a few time, I would like to ask your future vision regarding what is the future of public transportation and the main challenges in the next years in your activity. I can As it was mentioned yesterday, long term is unpredictable. Medium term, what I can say, we are developing projects to make process more agile and how we can better satisfy the clients. We must adapt. This 8 to 6 time has been changed regarding work. We have to analyze data and comply with the requirements of clients. We also want to renew vehicles, have more sustainable vehicles. And also we must take into account the bus entry, because we have more and more aging people. And everything according to the necessity of the clients. Also, we need to take into account the roads and the traffic. This is essential for the access.
Mas diga-me uma coisa. Dos problemas que resolvia a vida de todos nós, nomeadamente as duas engenheiras Armando, era o facto de termos muito mais pessoas a usar o transporte.
One of the problems we have is that we could have much more people using the public transportation. What is your company doing so that more people can use public transportation and less cars? We have trying to inform clients. With the Civitas project, we have many communication activities. We have school activities in schools with our partners. And we are trying to show that how much is easy the public transportation. Of course, if we don't have many people using the public transportation, we cannot have to increase the frequency of service. We need to gather more clients. So we have the chicken of egg problem. We need more buses and more lines to have more clients, but on the other hand, we need more clients to have resources for that. I would like to ask now to Armando, what do you see, how Funchal could be in the future for smart city? It can be a very good incubator as a small city. What do you think could happen in the next 50 years? First, we have to solve the war problem. But, okay, no. These new technologies will allow us to make much more sustainable decisions. One thing is to take decisions with according how we feel, another is to take decisions based on real data that help us decide. So we need to have a more disciplined city and citizen. There's a more environmental awareness. And I hope that we have more and more electrical vehicles and also more competitive buses in regards to individual transportation. The city has to be more transport friendly. With the new challenges we will have soon, with the number of cars visiting the city, and the improvement of the access to the city, we have to have better planning. Also, we need a better management of parking, a more integrated management of the parking. What about decentralizing Funchal? We are more concentrated. How Funchal will grow to where? So, main problem here we cannot decide where people will live or where they will drive. Today we see today we see that many people live in Caniço and work in Funchal. And when we build, we must think about the city as a whole. What do you think will happen in the next years in this area of reverse logistics? Is a horizontal question to other areas. What we see today is an increasing segmentation of clients. We have lots of customization nowadays, almost a different product for different clients, and also the alcohol-free products. So we have the challenge in the global world and regarding circularity. This situation in terms of logistics brings impact to our relationship with the citizens. We are looking what the automotive industry allows us to do at the moment. We don't trust yet the heavy distribution electrical vehicles. It's a step we could take, but we don't feel trust at the moment. We end up trying not reducing our environmental impact, but through our industry impact, try to reduce. We are installing solar panels. We are changing the steamer from fuel to biofuel. Many of our systems are fed by our solar panels. In terms of logistics, without taking the word of whoever knows, really goes a lot through local mobility and improving communication. Have you thought about outsourcing logistics? Some of it we are outsourcing. Some suppliers work with us in this field, but we feel we lose a bit of the knowledge of the client, which is important to us. But the world is fast, and you can never know what happens. Sérgio, Matos. The future challenges as a logistics operator. Taking into account we have more robots, Uber. What can be different in the future in your business? This is a difficult question. Any investment in logistics has to have a minimum horizon of 10 years. And if we try to understand in 10 years how we can circulate in Funchal, what will be the energy for that? If you look a little bit before to maritime transport, it's a 30-year investment. Each decision now will go up to 2050. And we don't know exactly what will be the fuel for the naval industry in 30 years. There are some rehearsals, but we, as a small operator, we need to know this planning, where everything is going. A key, we always see the same scale problem. All these technological means this implies space. There's very few space for logistics. We want to rent warehouses where they don't exist. Either we have some lever support that compensates the scale. We work with different multinationals in Madeira, but they work in different European countries, but the problems are different because the scale is different. There's different economic rationality of our operations. And talking about maximization, our highest competitors are our own clients. Our business is very squeezed. If I put a lower price, the client can do it in-house, and it's very challenging. I'd like to thank the interventions. It would be good to have more time to discuss other teams. I don't know if somebody in the audience would like to make some question to the panel participants. If there are no questions, we finish this panel. Thank you so much.